ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular council meeting here held in the council chambers on February 12th, 2018 here at 5 p.m. Tonight we have one council member is missing, Winston Bailey, and our youth mayor, Landon Fields, is going to be taking our spot in the table here. So this was not some great youth formula that Mr. Bailey took and has appeared like this. So if it was, we could have been selling it for great money, right? Look at this. This is Winston. Yeah, Weyburn Water does great things for. Look at Mr. Bailey here. Yes. So we start off. What we want to do is the approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting held January 22nd, 2018. Do we have approval?
I'll move that, Your Worship.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
All in favor? Carried. Are there any additions to the agenda? Mr. Hardy?
No, Your Worship, there are no additions to the agenda.
Councillors? There are no additions to the agenda. Then we'll move forward. Public hearings and notices. Was there a letter that was being read in or not? No? There's nothing. Delegations, proclamations, and petitions. There's none of those. There are no reports of standing committees. There is no consent agenda. Tonight we have the motions. Accounts payable. If you would, please.
Your Worship, I'll make a motion that the purchase in the amount of $1,004,667.72 from January 19th to February 12th, 2018 be passed for payment.
Do we
I'll
have
second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. We have the culvert repair request for proposal. Mr. Hardy, or Natter, if you would, please.
We have, like, two culverts between on Highway 39 between Government Road and 3rd Street. They were in a rough shape. We have published a request for proposal asking for pricing for replacing those two culverts. We got quotes from 7 contractors. We have awarded this work to NT Excavating at a cost of $31,738.04. And we are seeking the council approval for going forward for starting the work on those repairs.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, we do, Your Worship. Thank you, Natter, for the explanation. I'm pleased to make a motion at the bid of NT Excavating to repair 2 culverts on Highway 39 between Government Road and 13th Street Northeast in the amount of $31,738.04 be accepted.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Mr. Van Betju?
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, Engineer Natter. Sorry. Was it within budget?
The budget allocated for
your
this
microphone.
The budget allocated for this work is $100,000, and it is within budget, definitely.
Okay, so do we get bonding or anything from the company doing the work?
10%. Yeah.
And just to clarify, these 2 culverts, the one is on 39 Highway?
Both of them are on 39 Highway. One of them is in close premises to Government Road, and the other one by 3rd Street.
3rd Street by Home Hardware. So, and this has to be done due to fairly quick order because of environmental issues that are coming up in the springtime.
We have a limited time for doing this work because we have an aquatic habitat permit, so we have to abide by a certain period for doing this work. The plan is to start first week of March.
First week of March. No, just in talking there, that there was concern that there was some of the traffic, well, especially on 39 and Government Road, will be going to South Hill. the school bus drivers and all are delivering children from, taking children from there and bringing them in. The school boards will be notified where the detours will be and what times and places and how this is all going to go about.
Actually, Third and Government Road, they will not be closed, so you can still go through from south to north. The detour routes will be published. We have in place, we already have taken permission from Ministry of Highways for 2 detours, one of them through 22nd Street, and the other one will be through 16th, going First Avenue, then going to 35. So either or, whatever works by then, we'll use it as an alternate route.
And their construction should be only a few weeks, or a week or two? 2 weeks?
Supposed to be 1 week, but like, worst case scenario, it will be 2 weeks.
Very good. Any further questions, Mr. Mitchell?
Thank you, Worship. Another question to you. The low tender, Mr. Tookshire, was he approached at all by us because he was the lowest? Not only because the lowest, but the spread between him and the other one was substantial, in my opinion. Have you talked to him?
Yes, I already talked with him. He seems like, everything is in place, the same, like, we have reviewed what he quoted. However, we will work with him to accomplish this project successfully.
Thank you.
Any further questions? At this point in time, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. The next one is, as you know, and the public may be aware or may not be aware, we have expanded our police commission of citizens at large. There are presently 2 citizens. The police commission is made up of 3, pardon me, 2 citizens at large, 3 council members, and I chair the board, plus we have the police chief is on the board, which is totally separate, that basically operates our police commission, our police department. With this, we've expanded, as so many of the cities have, to include a more expanded look at how policing should be done within the city. We have called for appointments, and with that, we have, Mr. Hardy has got 3 candidates, of which.
Your Worship, we have 3 candidates, and with the pleasure of council, in order to finalize council's decision, I would like to refer this to the committee of the whole meeting at the end of this meeting for discussion, and then we will report out on the appointment of those commissioners.
Very good. So we'll place it at that time. Introduction of bylaws. The development levy bylaw, as was seen in the past council meeting, we had passed a policy on the development levy, and now we are moving forward for a development levy bylaw. Do we have a motion?
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that bylaw 2017-3365, being the development levy bylaw for the city of Weyburn, be read a 3rd time and passed.
Your Worship, I'd like to second that motion. Any discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Richards.
Thanks, Your Worship.
You're just waiting.
I just couldn't resist. I just wanted to say thank you to the city administration for working through this process, and it's exciting to see the change that has happened. And I just hope that folks that are wondering what this is going to look like, that they come in and have these conversations now with our administration. Thanks, Your Worship.
Any further discussion? No further discussion. Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Unfinished business. Electrical and instrumentation tender. It was tabled motion on January 22nd. We, again, Nader, if you could speak to this, as to just to bring us up to speed again as to the price.
There was a redundancy added to the water treatment plant for electrical and instrumentational work. Westridge, our main contractor, invited 3 subcontractors for providing quotes for the electrical work, and they suggested that the lowest bidder, which is Alliance Energy Limited, at a cost of $1,437,000 to be awarded the electrical component. And for the mechanical work to be awarded at a cost of $267,852 and 0.9. During the previous meeting, there was a concern raised about not hiring local contractors and about the pricing. We met with AECOM and we requested a clarification letter and a breakdown for the cost associated with this request for proposal. They provided this letter confirming that these numbers are within the ballpark they anticipated for this work. So we are recommending that the city amend the contract price of contract 2 to reflect this addition of electrical and instrumentational work at a cost of $2,039,670.
That's already been moved and seconded, Your Worship. It's just now for discussion and call the question.
Discussion? Mr. Van Betju?
Again, I'll just ask the question, matter if this was pretty well at budget for what the city had planned for the electrical portion?
It is within budget. The allocated fund for this project is $15 million. So the $2 million is still, we are still within budget, and we have supplement amount of money which will be directed to other project related to water stuff.
Thank you.
There's no further questions or statements. Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. On to new business. There is a application for a home occupation on 652 Dieppe Drive. Mr. Hardy.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. The report is in front of council requesting as it is a discussionary item to be put before council with respect to a holistic solutions business from at 652 Dieppe Drive. The business will operate between 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. from Monday through Sunday by appointment only, which will bring anticipated minimum increase to the traffic flow. With the minimum increase in traffic, parking in the driveway will be available to clients, as there will only be one vehicle per appointment. Neighborhood notices were mailed out. There were no concerns or objections received in this case. In terms of the planning review, the recommendation from staff is approval of the home occupation subject to the following conditions. First, that no person other than a resident of the dwelling unit shall be engaged in the home occupation as an employee or volunteer. Second, no advertisement carrying the address of the dwelling in which the home occupation occurs may be placed in any media, and the face of any home business sign on site must not exceed the city regulations and must be placed within the inside half of the front yard setback. Again, the conditional approval is subject to periodic review, and that the City of Weyburn business license shall be obtained prior to the operation of this home occupation.
Mr. Van Betju?
Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that the home occupation application of Tracy Hawkridge to operate a holistic solution business from her residence at 652 Dieppe Drive, Lot 12, Block 18, Plan 78R 51308 be approved with the conditions provided.
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Mr. Mickle?
Thank you, Worship. I wonder if at all possible, Your Worship, people that are applying for these home occupancy, if they could come to the council chambers. Sometimes it's interesting to ask some questions other than aren't documented as such. It'd be nice to have them in our gallery and they can maybe answer some questions. So maybe moving forward, if we could do that, that'd be very much appreciated.
We could ask our staff to add to that. Is that noted, Mr. Hardy? Mr. Richards?
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. And Councillor Mickle, I would echo that, and my statement was the same. I don't know, obviously, the nature of Ms. Hockridge's business. It says Holistic Solutions. I think it would be interesting, A, to find out what that is, but B, to the city manager, I guess I wonder if this is I always think of holistics, I guess, as a practitioner of sorts. Does public health need to be consulted on this to ensure that the building is up to speed? And perhaps it's just a simple retail of goods. I don't know that, but something we should be aware of.
Certainly, thank you, Your Worship, or through you, Your Worship, to Councillor Richards. Yes, there is. His questions are valid, and we again, in terms of our approval, are approving our stuff, not with respect to the public health stuff. But it is good to make the distinction when we're writing reports in terms of whether it is a retail operation or whether it's a service operation, I think, as well.
Right. Thank you.
Any further questions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Home occupation application, 477 McGilvery Drive. Mr. Hardy?
Your Worship, small business is alive and thriving in Weyburn. Obviously, we're having a number of these home occupations which are coming forward. This one at 477 McGilvery Drive is with respect to operating a skate sharpening business from the residents, basically using within the attached garage. The business will operate from 8 to 8 Monday through Sunday during the hockey season, again with minimal anticipated increase to traffic flow in the area. Neighborhood notices were mailed out. No objections or concerns were received. With respect to the planning review, the same recommendation is coming from staff with one added condition in that material deliveries and product pickups should be done between the hours of 8 and 8 p.m. on weekdays, and that the off-street parking be provided in the driveway of the residents. The staff are therefore recommending approval of this home occupation, subject to the regular conditions plus the one about deliveries and pickups.
Do I have a motion, please?
Your Worship, I'd like to make the motion that the home occupancy or occupation application of Trent and Ann Schnell to operate a skate sharpening business from their residence at 477 McGilvery Drive, Lot 46, Block 4, Plan 62R39077 be approved with the conditions provided.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Inquiries and announcements. Gentlemen, anything? Any inquiries of Mr. Hardy? Any announcements which you wish to make? We have the 2 points that I'd like to bring up here at this point in time. I noticed on our desk at this point in time, are you delivering this later there? But there was if you take a look at this, this is by the Chamber of Commerce. And if you wouldn't mind, would you just make a brief statement about what this is? Boy, well, you delivered it here, so tell us what it's all about. The Investor Guide to the Opportunity City of Weyburn. Yes,
oh,
you have
shoot.
2 minutes.
Okay. So my name's Twyla Wakaden, and I'm the Executive Director of the Weyburn Regional Economic Development. And it's actually an economic development initiative that we've been working on for the last year. And what this guide is meant to accomplish is to make it very easy and seamless in order to attract investment into our community. So we worked with a third-party firm out of Regina in order to collect 2015 census data that was released in 2016. And that census data goes into concluding where we might have gaps in our economy. And it throws out some really interesting statistics on annual household spending and really where Weyburn compares with other jurisdictions on things like commercial property tax. So really, I guess in essence, what it's meant to accomplish is to focus on what Weyburn has to offer in terms of investment opportunity, and that's to build our economy, obviously. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Any questions from council? Mr. Richards?
Thanks, Your Worship. Number one, thanks for putting this package together for us and for the investors, and I think it's a great tool for someone looking to invest in Weyburn. I guess if I had a question, Twyla, it would be, do you expect that folks are eager to see this? And if so, do you think it's going to have an impact on our ability to draw people in?
Absolutely. What we've tried to accomplish is to do all the homework for potential investors. So typically, if they're interested in investing in a community, they're going to try to get access to a lot of this information themselves. But what we've done is we've compiled it all into a couple of different documents. So what you see is, I guess, what we call the teaser document in front of you. Accompanying that document is another more detailed investor's guide that gives a ton more information. Both of these documents are on our Weyburn Regional Economic Development website. I believe they're going to be, or they are on the City of Weyburn's website. They'll be on the RM of Weyburn's website, and they'll be on the Chamber's website. So available digitally, as well as we've got hard copies in our office. So yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate that. The last point, I'll direct it to our youth mayor here. We have the McLeod series is wrapping up tomorrow with the boys game at 5:30 and the ladies game at 7:30. What are we doing? Are we press the button to talk? How are we in the standing?
Right now, we're losing. But
We're
it's only
behind.
by
We're not
1
losing,
point.
we're behind.
By 1 point, so
On the whole total.
the overall standings. So
And the way the McLeod series goes, it's total points on both the boys
wins
and the girls.
first
Yes.
and then points
Men's and ladies.
afterwards. Yeah.
And there. We're only 1 point behind.
Yeah.
Last year, we lost the cup to Estevan, so we shall strive to change that.
I think so.
Yes. And again, I'll be out there for the 7:30 game tomorrow night, and we invite all parents and public to come out and cheer on our youth as they participate in this good rivalry of basketball between Weyburn and Estevan. Thank you for your delivery. Any other statements? There's no notice of motions. Request for clarification, there is none. At this point in time, we, as a city councilor, are going to retire into committee of whole for a closed session. We have to have a motion for that. Those of the public at home, we will regain afterwards, after we discussed a few items, and we will disclose what we talked about in committee of whole. And you may or may not rejoin us, but if you're not going to rejoin us, we thank you for your attendance here tonight and watching us on TV. You can finish off looking on our city website for a report of the committee on whole. At this point in time, do I have a request? Motion?
Thanks, Your Worship. I move that council move into committee of the whole to discuss the items under the committee of the whole section of the regular council agenda as per section 94(2) of the Cities Act at 5:23 p.m.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? We now move into city of whole. Committee of whole.